All right, the $70 Cushman Truckster. Will it run? Well, let's find out right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. And we finally got all our pieces in the mail we need. And actually, I'm in the process of rebuilding the carburetor as we speak. You'll see that footage here in a minute. And I thought while it was cooking, I would come out and try to get some of this ready to go. So our big hurdle is the carburetor, but also there's another issue of sadness on this, and I'm going to try to figure out, maybe I don't need to take this piece up to do it, but what we have is, it originally had a mechanical transfer pump. You can see the remnants of it there. However, whoever worked on this last decided that instead of taking it off and blocking it off, he would just take the top off of the pump. So the little diaphragm's been going up and down the whole time, and it's also letting oil and stuff sling out. It's not a very good idea. Don't do that thing. So I got this fancy little lasered block off plate, as I suppose that this is a common problem for these, and I'm not the first guy who's had to deal with it. So it's going to take a very particular set of skills.
I can tell you I don't have money, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
No, a very particular screwdriver, I think, to get in there and do this. And I'm trying to think on that exactly. Well, I just hope I can get what I got in there. It's got to be long enough that I can get around it, but not too long or too obese. As crazy as that sounds. Well, that one's coming loose easy. I did not think that stuff would come out as easy as that, which must mean that the bottom one that we can't see is going to fight us to the death. And that's fine. I've grown tired of living. Come on out of there, baby. That is a lot longer screw than I thought it was. How much you want to bet we're going to be finding custom bolts? And that this project is going to be tabled for today. It's kind of looking like that, isn't it? Maybe that's really what it... Are they really that long for some reason? What I'm saying is the lobes of the housing of the pump doesn't really look that thick, so we might be able to use these again. Okay, let's see if we can wiggle this out of there. Uh-oh. That is no good, is it? Do we suppose that that is down in there? Or do we suppose that the last guy had that problem and he cut it off and he used it for... I think that's what happened. It almost looks like it was cut off. We're going to operate under that assumption that he made it into a block-off plate. And that's just the way she goes. Because I don't know how a guy would ever fish that out of there if that's not the case. And I don't even want to go down that train of thought. So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna assume the best, friends. We're gonna positive thoughts. We're gonna pretend that old man, when he put on the other transfer pump, sawed off that lobe. It looks like he took a big cutters and clipped it. Yeah, that's what we're gonna operate under. Because I don't think there's any way that that would be able to happen. No, I don't think there's any possible way that you could make that kind of a looking cut. You know what I'm saying. I thought the little thing was going up and down, but I guess it wasn't. Let's get in there, buddy boy. We need to get us an actual Phillips screwdriver now. There. All right then. So now we got our fancy schmancy little block off plate there. And this thing shouldn't be leaking no more. See, look, it was just leaking through there. I mean, he had a nice idea trying to use this, but somewhere in the plan, it was not executed properly. And I guess he didn't take into account that this pump was junk, and it was probably letting fuel into the oil, and so, yeah, it would then thereby let oil out. So, with that being done, I suppose now we can turn our attention to this seat, because you can tell, see here, we have no seat. We have a framework that was a seat, but we don't have that thing that we need. So what I'm thinking, I thought maybe that would latch down some way and hold out of its way, but I think that's just pretend now, which is fine. My obesity will hold us down. But we're gonna make the school bus seat work. And so, because this kind is the 2-leg on the floor model, I should have got some for the opposite side of the bus, and then my mounting flange would have been on that, whatever. I'm getting too particular there. But saw the legs off, and we'll see where she falls, and then we'll have to figure out how to make us a mounting from one to the other. We may have to take the cushion off and then weld something somehow, an angle iron to it. You know, I could just weld it right to that thing, but probably would be handy to be able to take it off if you had to, you know. So that's what I'm thinking, but we're gonna do that right now. All right, now I'm sure there's a right way, but there is definitely a Ross way, and that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna start hacking with this. So perhaps I should bring it over to where the side I need to cut is out here where I can get to it. All right, Mr. School Bus Seat, you have met your match. You're gonna stay right there out of the spark zone, I hope. Let's see. Boy, those are solid. Are your child's school bus seats safe? Find out at 11. Good gravy, you could escape from prison with one of those things. How thick are they? That's like 1/4-inch steel. Wow, sure. Well, that was one. That's pretty thick for what I thought it would be. This one's going to be a trick because it's curved. Yes! This is very much what I envisioned, except for it's going to be too wide by just a little bit. It's got to be able to go... Oh, okay. As long as it can go there, it could actually be as far as that, probably, and not interfere. It's got to be able to go... Well, I'm not having very good luck shifting now for some reason. But up, forward, and then over. It's got to be able to go. And I don't think that's anything that's affecting my seat. I think it's just... There's some slop in our linkage we're going to have to probably address at some point. So, if a guy... How could he make this where that would stay there like that? It's a little close, but it is comfortable. I thought about just using the back cushion, but I kind of like the whole seat. I think you could make this work. Not much room for passengers, but I don't care. This is for me. I don't care about passengers. I like the... Might have to weld a tall shifter on so it's like right up here, you know. But everything is still within reach. And the best part is you could take it off if you had to. So, what I think needs to happen there is we're going to have to make us another adapter, whereas I put a piece of flat plate from that brace over to that and just bolt it together, maybe. And then this side, maybe just weld a piece of angle iron there and bolt right through there. It really wouldn't take much to hold this seat on, but I'm thinking a little piece of angle iron there. Maybe we'd even just bolt it, drill a hole through and bolt it to both pieces, and then do the same to the bottom. That way everything could be taken off if it had to be, which is kind of the name of the game. I mean, we don't know what we're gonna get into along life's way. But if I put a piece of steel in there, it would raise it up like ever so slightly. So I don't know that a guy would notice that, but, or care, you know. Ooh, no, I see what I can do. There's the piece right there with a hole in it. If I just get a flat bar and run it across there, I can bolt it to this somewhere, and I don't think it'll interfere with my shifter, because that's all it has to be right there. It comes out more. I think we got this figured out, friends. That's also going to stiffen that up quite a bit too, to where that would not be so bad, and it's actually lower than that anyway, so I'm thinking we can make this go. Yeah. Now the next question is, does a guy have a piece of metal? Probably not exactly like what I want. So, does he wait? Or does he just go for it? I would say just go for it myself, but... Let me go do some hunting around and see what I can come up with. Alright. So right here we have us a, let's find the name, a K-Hin carburetor that comes off of that Cushman. So we're going to try to take her apart and figure out what we can do to make her more better inside. I got a new kit, and hopefully that'll make that thing a screaming demon. My little $70 Cushman is quickly racking up the, you know, the parts bill is what I'm trying to say. And this here carburetor I thought maybe could be had for $19.95 off the old Jungle store there, but it apparently is a unique beast to just this one application. So, and the reason why, I think they had a Zenith first and then they came out with this because of emissions regulations. And if I am correct in saying so, I think it only has one like jet adjustment, and that is this screw right here. And then the only other adjustment you have is idle speed, which is on top there. So I would say let's strip her down and see what we can come up with and put her in the old basket. I got this thing heating up, and then maybe we can, you know, have us something. I don't think you're supposed to use the magical powder on this type of material, but it says, yeah, but it's because of discoloration, so I don't really care if it's discolored as long as it doesn't ruin it. So I might put a little in there and try to cook her and see what happens, because this stuff does clean for whatever reason. So where to begin? Well, we don't know what we're doing, which is always an excellent place to start. But I would say we're going to start by taking this here snout off of this sucker. And it may be the type of thing where a guy could find a carburetor that would replace this, which I should have probably investigated in more depth before buying new kit, but what are you gonna do? I took my nice screwdriver outside too, so now we're gonna ride the struggle bus the whole way probably. It's gonna take 90 different sizes of screwdriver. I'm also fairly certain that this is a plastic float setup. Okay, there is one gasket, and that was obviously leaking because it was smushed in there wrong. So that's cool. Nothing spectacular there. That is like a vacuum port. Into the basket you go. This here was the cause of our sadness. I see it's a Phillips head. And that's probably where I'm going to regret not having my other screwdriver, because I probably don't have one of those in the house. Well, dum-dum.
That, dum-dum, is where I have to draw the line.
Take the stuff apart now. I'm sure this will become obvious as we put it back together what went where, because I've had this apart before. The long screw, this one's a super long one because it actually connects the bottom of the bowl to the feller. There's a spring and a bunch of nasties, and get my old rubber piece out of there. That stuck to it again. There shouldn't be any reason for it to stick. Man, there. Okay. Then the other thing's just a rod, and that'll come out in a minute. Oh. And no, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never worked on one of these before, but a carburetor's a carburetor, you know. So we're not going to freak out just yet. My backup plan, if this doesn't work, is to order something close that fits like a big twin cylinder Kohler of about 25 horsepower, and then adapt it to make her go. Because you can make anything fit anything, I think. But we're going to give it one shot at originality. This should just pull out of there. And it does. Yeah, we're going to put this in the basket. Maybe we're doing the wrong thing, but I think discoloration is not a big problem at this point. Like, that ain't. That's the least of our worries, is what I'm saying. Okay, what else am I missing? If you look at the new carburetor kit, you can figure out what other stuff you need to take loose. I'm not sure about what that's going on right there. The plug in there. Perhaps a guy ought read the instructions before he's done, because there are instructions. There are instructions. There's pictures too. Ooh. With accelerator pump. That's what we got. Slow jet main nozzle. I don't see any mention of that little square peg in that hole, but sure. All we can do is totally destroy it. So if that's the worst that happens, you know. I don't think we had this out the other day, this pin, now that I am riding the struggle bus with it. come on. Sure. Float, that ain't going in the dip because we'll never get that. Now, is there a new little rubber? I think there is. It's a plug, actually. Okay. Now the question is there something down in there to take out? I believe there is. It's very gently. Uh-oh. Well, bad news bears, friend. I don't think that's going to come out. I think we better cook it first before we destroy it. Let's try a bigger screwdriver on this one. Well, we got one. Ooh, that's not what I expected. I expected there to be more gadgetry there. Like, does that just retain the whole thing? Or does that... the slow jet and the main jet. So I think we just took out the main jet. Yeah. So that whole main nozzle should come out of there. Is it going to be like the John Deere carburetors where you just got a lot of sadness to deal with? I think we're going to have to cook it. I think we're going to have to cook it at least once first, as is, and then deal with it later. And I think that's as far down as I'm going to be able to take it, because I don't think... Okay, so I'm going to cook it like this, right or wrong, in hopes that maybe some of that loosens up and then I can get that apart. And if I can't, then we're just going to try it like it is, because I think 90% of our problem was the accelerator pump. So we're going to clean her up like this and see what happens. Also, I did not turn her up to full heat, as I'm not sure that we could warp some aluminum or pot metal, whatever that is. I don't know, but we're going to try gentle is the name of the game. And we'll bring you back when we find something out. All right, a nice steaming pile of nasty water. But this little sucker, I think, is ready for reassembling. I think I'm happy with what we accomplished there. I didn't get everything out of there, but I don't know that being plugged up was really its issue as much as it was just not the accelerator pump, is what I'm trying to say. That was the problem. At least that's what we're going to operate under, because I don't know what else to say there. I'm going to spray her off with the old magical brake spray. How did this fare? Well, it fared good. No. All right, well, she is clean. It's a shame that we couldn't get some of that stuff out of there, but it just don't look like an option at this point. It just won't go. However, I can spray brake clean through the passages everywhere, and fuel comes out somewhere else, so I think I'm going to call that a success there, and we're just going to deal with it. So what does a guy put in first? Well, he doesn't want to lose anything. So what have we got here, friends? Well, that one was in there. You reckon we ought to read some instructions on how to adjust it? Or do you figure we just screw it in till she don't go no more and not worry about it? It would probably be a good idea to read up on it, but it was pretty well flush with it. Let's see what the old instruction book says. Carburetor kits, yeah, sure. Power mower on flat level surface, sure. Engine should engine should operate satisfactorily when the carburetor is adjusted following specification. Low speed, 1 to 2 turns open. Low speed. So we need to make sure that low speed is 1 to 2 turns open. Limiter cat, idle mixing screw. I don't have that style. I've got this style, and on this style, number 3, it says O-ring. I don't actually have a adjustable kind, do I? Or do I? I don't know, no. See, that one has an actual needle valve, idle mixture screw with a limiter cap. But I don't have that kind. I have a thing that just has a plug, it looks like, with a set orifice. Does it say that anywhere? Good thing I didn't try to take the fuel line out. It says it cannot be removed. Twisting or turning may break this part. Remove the bowl screws, remove the bowl. Never use a wire or drill. Oops. Inspect all parts. The float is not adjustable. Assemble carburetor using new gaskets. We can't do all that. So, I didn't pay attention, but I'm pretty sure that I'm okay on that because I don't think that does anything. And if it does, I mean, that's just gonna vibrate out of there, isn't it? Because there's nothing to hold it. I don't know, friends. If she won't run like that, we'll have to figure it out. We may have to Google the interweb before we put it on the machine, because that's the only adjustment we got. I think everything else is good to go, which means we can start assembly. The easiest carburetor rebuild, because there is no way to rebuild it. We're gonna need all these little pieces here, see? This one went in here. And that went in there. And then this gets the new rubber plug. Which, why? I don't understand that. Nope, sure don't. And then we're gonna need our needle valve. Look at all those parts we aren't gonna use until we have to. I don't know what they all do. I don't care what they all do either. Now we gotta put this on there very precisely. This is like, no, how does one do it? Oh, I see. You just force her on there. There. Okay. Sure. Jeff Japanesium carburetor. It works, but remember we have a fuel pump, so it's definitely going to force that open. Probably too much so. And did we pay attention? No, we didn't. Not enough anyway. I'm really wondering about that little... Okay, well, we don't know everything. Just always remember that in life. No matter how much you know, you don't know everything. So we're applying that principle to this. As there are some things that I just don't understand about it, but I really don't care. So if I go like that, that should be adequate there. I'm gonna do that. Then, dang it, I gotta do it again. You know why? Because I forgot this stupid boot. Man, how many of you were screaming, the boot? Das Boot? Probably not screaming the boat. But, third time's a charm, right? It seems to be our pattern lately. Let's get that boot on there. Let's get that rod in there. Now, perhaps, we'll be done taking that bowl off. Or not, you know. I don't know why we would. Okay. Now, you see how this works, right? The little accelerator thingamabobber, it punches down on this here diaphragm. It's got that there little thing right there, see there? Look how pretty that fits in there, like there, right there. Then, I believe on this one, the little diaphragm, which that's the way it is on most of these types of things, the little diaphragm itself is actually the watch-a-me. And the whole time we were doing that, I didn't realize that that was an O-ring stuck to that. That would make sense. Well, we can just rectify that right now, can't we? That goes through there, so that's good. Alright. Now we gotta find which one of these tiniest of O-rings. It has to be that square-sided job, because that's the way the old one looks. Come on. So we gotta put that on there, and this spring. Then we gotta go, oh, you know what? Is that other one supposed to be? It is. There's actually two. There's one that goes in there for some reason. That's not even a through hole, really, is it? I tried, no. Okay. That's the only one that's got the accelerator pump, so you kind of gotta Okay. So coming right around here. Now we need to go. Now we need to figure this job out. That's gonna go like this. This is gonna go like here. And then these are gonna go in there, which it would be easier to, we're gonna drop that all on the ground. Let's just start over. We know that's gonna happen. Gonna put those in there before we ever start. I don't know what that is. That's a scam. Too many scams out there, people. I don't want to buy your slightly used camel. Maybe if you had a one owner, low miles, I might, but nobody's got a use for a used camel. It wouldn't be so much that it was just a used camel as much as it was also the guy's first wife. That's the part that bothers me. All right. Well, our parts are quickly dwindling. That's good. We're looking at our list to see what we missed. What else could there be? There was a couple O-rings we didn't use, but that's because we couldn't get to them. Yeah, I think we pretty well made it. I'm gonna put some of this stuff back in this bag just so we don't lose it. But anyway, I would call this hopefully a successful rebuild. And I suppose we're going to leave that video then on this note, and we will put it on and get it running in the next one, because this is going to be way too much footage. I can see I have over a half an hour of footage just on Carburetor, probably closer to an hour, and almost the same working outside, so probably a good place to just leave her hang. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. That helps out the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything. Leave a comment. Tell me that you liked it, or tell me that you hated it. Tell me I'm a moron. I really don't care, but anything that you say helps us out too. So thank you again, as always, for watching, and I will see you in the next one.